Hello, thank you for joining this deep dive. This is a translation generated automatically with artificial intelligence. We want to show you a path that we have learned from our experience in adopting artificial intelligence in companies working with our clients. But first, I wanted to tell you a bit about our own journey with artificial intelligence. GeneXus always worked by separating how we made software from what we wanted to achieve. Instead of programming, we modeled. Then, from that model, we would generate to get the web application, mobile application, super app, etc. With the arrival of LLMs, we realized that again, those two dimensions were affected, how we created software and the type of software we needed to create. And that everything was changing very quickly and all at the same time. That's why we needed to create GeneXus Enterprise AI to make GeneXus next independent of the changes LLMs and to have a better way to control the evolution of our own platform. And we realized that this, which started as an internal tool, was something that all companies were going to need when they wanted to use artificial intelligence in their systems. So we started marketing it, getting great traction in the GeneXus and Globant community. A couple of weeks ago, the platform was fully adopted by Globant. It was upgraded, so to speak, because it became able to be called Globant Enterprise AI. This change reflects its importance within the overall AI strategy, not only of GeneXus, but within Globant. Globant Enterprise AI will continue to be led and developed by the GeneXus team with the support of Globant. This platform, which is just over a year old, could not have gotten off to a better start. Let's move on now then to talk about what we have learned doing projects with Gen AI using Globant Enterprise AI. Before we start the talk, a few definitions. In this talk, I will be talking about chatbots, assistants, and AI agents. These terms can have different meanings, depending a bit on who is saying them. By AI chats, I mean natural language interactions, where the AI talks to us conversationally, and that is its sole function, to conversationally answer our requests. It is a specific user experience in itself. It may or may not be connected to some kind of data from my business, but the important thing is that you write a question and it answers it very well. Assistants are AI interactions that help me solve a job or task more easily. There may be a natural language interaction, but it is embedded in an established software product or solution. Agents are artificial intelligence entities that operate with greater autonomy to independently solve tasks with varying levels of human supervision. As you can see, these examples range from less to more, from interacting to helping execute actions. Well, with that out of the way, now we can really start the talk of the roadmap for adopting artificial intelligence, and I want to start by putting us in context with two phrases that you have probably already heard. The first of the phrases is, data is the new oil. This phrase, said by Clive Humbly, a mathematician, means that data is valuable, but it needs to be refined to extract its full power. Today, we can obviously refine it with artificial intelligence. The second phrase is, artificial intelligence is the new electricity, which speaks of nothing else but the great transformative power that this technology has. But well, if we can consider data as the new oil and consider AI as the new equivalent of electricity, then we are facing a new revolution. It is not an industrial revolution. We are talking about an intelligent revolution, a revolution of intellectual work. Just as in the Industrial Revolution, where companies that adopted new technologies such as electricity and the combustion engine were the ones that led the market, today it is clear that those that adopt artificial intelligence independently will be the ones that dominate the future. The combination of experience, proprietary data, and control over the applied artificial intelligence will be the true differentiating factor for companies. The question I currently ask myself is the following one. Are companies ready for what's coming? Because this path to AI adoption is not an easy one. It is full of challenges. As we continue, I want to explore some of those barriers in the road to artificial intelligence adoption. It is the first step to finding a way to overcome them so that your company successfully participates in this revolution. The first barrier companies face is the cost of massive use of AI in the enterprise. We know that every CEO today wants his employees to use artificial intelligence to increase work productivity, speed, and quality. However, there is an associated problem, which is the unexpected cost of its massive use. These costs grow as it scales. A team of 1,000 people using a model like GPT with an intermediate subscription of $20 per month per user implies $20,000 per month or $240,000 per year in subscriptions alone. And we are not even talking about training or refining or hosting models or privacy issues or data security or a host of other issues. The second barrier is privacy and security, because companies want to use artificial intelligence, but no one wants their data or that of their customers to be used to train models or to be leaked on the internet. Another problem is the constant evolution of models. Every time a model improves, companies must recalibrate their application. It's like cooking with a recipe where some ingredient changes in the middle of the cooking process. It will probably improve the final result, but sometimes it will not. It might throw off the flavors entirely, forcing you to tweak the dish further, which takes extra time and ingredients. Then you have to check the results and adjust the application, and that costs time and money. Another big barrier is being tied to an AI vendor. If companies are dependent on a vendor and the vendor changes its terms, data handling, or fees, the entire strategy of those companies becomes at risk. There is one final challenge to overcome, which is unique to this era, and that is getting all these assistants and agents to work in sync with people. For AI adoption to work, agents must talk to each other. They must also collaborate with people and other agents, while they might also be monitored or controlled by humans. While these 5 hurdles are not all the obstacles, they are some of the most important obstacles. Overcoming them is essential for effective AI integration and success. So how can companies overcome them? This is obviously where Globant Enterprise AI comes in. This platform helps companies adopt AI without losing control. At the beginning, we were saying that we were achieving great acceptance of the platform. Do you know what the key to success is? It is that it allows you to achieve independence from artificial intelligence. This independence has many benefits for companies. Vendor independence allows you to switch between technologies without disrupting your operations. On the other hand, model application independence allows you to version those applications and switch between models without having to reprogram them. It also lowers the costs of using artificial intelligence and gives you total control over costs by providing your own private enterprise AI within the company. In addition, it guarantees independence in data management and data security. As it is in your own private environment, the data is not used to train models that are used by the general public, and the information is kept contained and secure within your company. It also gives you complete observability. It allows you to monitor AI usage and costs for all projects across the enterprise. In addition, it facilitates synchronization between agents and humans. Globant Enterprise AI has also the ability to create workflows where AI agents, tools, and people can communicate and collaborate as part of a bigger business process, interacting both with other agents and human teams. Thanks to the independence and control provided by the platform, we are able to build solutions that are resilient to change and ready to evolve easily. So let's move to the next stage and start talking about how Globant Enterprise AI and artificial intelligence are being used in enterprises. There are 4 key areas where AI is opening doors for us in enterprise settings. Gisela Bertelli mentioned these 4 key areas with examples during the keynote, and Sofia Abrevaya also discusses them in her deep dive into real-world applications of artificial intelligence in enterprises. I'd like to summarize them briefly here because it's important to keep them in mind. First, AI is widely used for process optimization. Companies have various processes that can benefit from incorporating AI to improve margins and save time. This is a first clear and popular use of artificial intelligence. We can also enhance customer interactions, creating smarter, more personalized and seamless experiences. This includes everything from chatbots that respond instantly to intelligent recommendations on digital platforms, adapting dynamically to user preferences. These improvements make interactions more relevant and engaging, better aligning with user expectations. Artificial intelligence is also being used to drive sectors such as software, marketing, and the audiovisual sector, automating tasks, speeding up creation, and even going so far as to change or reinvent established processes. In areas such as software development, for example, artificial intelligence is transforming the pillars of the development process itself, and this revolution that we see in our industry will spread to all industries. Finally, we find that its use to evolve legacy systems is becoming very interesting. Many companies face the challenge of legacy and obsolete systems. Well, using artificial intelligence in the modernization process allows to analyze the code, understand the business needs, and rebuild these systems in new technologies, preparing them for the future. These are the popular use cases we have learned from doing real projects with customers. From these experiences, the other thing we learned is that there is a way, an ideal way to adopt artificial intelligence in companies. This is the last point we want to talk about. It's a roadmap that we built based on our work. Anyone can follow it to integrate artificial intelligence into their operations and do it in a scalable, controlled, and efficient way. There are 5 simple phases or recommendations. Our first recommendation is to start using artificial intelligence as is, without modifications, but making sure that artificial intelligence is hosted in your private enterprise inside your company. At this stage, you can use artificial intelligence for simple and common tasks, such as creating new content, performing translations, create audios in new languages, create images, or helping in the automation of tasks that are repetitive, boring, or mundane tasks no one wants to do. It is not necessary to commit to large investments at this stage, as it is simply a way to test and learn without taking big risks. The second phase, once you and your team are more and more familiar with the use of artificial intelligence, is to start experimenting with different models for the same tasks you are already doing. You may find that some models are more efficient in certain areas than others, or that some models are much more economical for the tasks you need. This is a time to compare performance, accuracy, and costs and choose the models that best fit your company's specific needs. The third phase that follows is when you have a solid AI foundation in place and a clearer understanding of your company's capabilities. Naturally, ideas will start to emerge in the teams to leverage AI more fully. Now is the time to create AI assistants or agents. These assistants and agents can help employees with more complex tasks, such as providing technical support, analyzing large volumes of data, or facilitating decision-making based on accurate information. In turn, these assistants can be formally or informally integrated into different work teams, areas, divisions, or even across the enterprise. As the company continues to gain experience creating assistants, the next phase proceeds naturally. In this phase, artificial intelligence begins to be integrated into critical systems. These are not disconnected assistants or agents, but already AI-enabled solutions and helpers within finance, operations, or people management systems. And obviously, we come to the last phase, which is the most advanced. It is about creating artificial intelligence systems with increasing levels of autonomy, what we at Globant and GeneXus call agentic AI systems and processes, which begin to make decisions and execute actions within the business processes and with different levels of autonomy and human supervision or control. We understand that this is what everyone imagines when they think of using artificial intelligence within their companies, but it is just the final step of an adoption process. It can hardly be the first step because it requires a maturation and understanding of the real capabilities of artificial intelligence and how we can apply it in our context. No matter what industry you belong to, all companies embarking on AI adoption will face the same challenges. To overcome them, we really recommend following the steps of this path I presented. We understand that it greatly increases the chance of successful adoption of this technology. The future belongs to those companies that manage to master artificial intelligence and use it strategically. And since there is a clear path to be successful adopting this new technology, and we know it, we invite you to join this intelligent revolution with Globant Enterprise AI to be able to have artificial intelligence with vendor independence, model independence, and maintain total control over costs and security. If you want to be part of this revolution, we invite you to contact us to learn more or continue with Gerardo Cuneo's talk. He will go a little deeper into the technical aspects of Globant Enterprise AI. Well, that's it. Thank you very much for joining us. See you next time.